I honestly don't understand how sour edible panties didn't take off. I said to my best friend and former roommate for the last decade, Rachel Blumenthal. It was a one in a million idea. If Shark Tank hadn't turned down my application. Rachel shot me a look as she placed the last box down on top of the stack of other moving boxes stacked against one wall of what would soon be my living room. There was zero chance Mark Cuban was going to invest in that, Yasmin. He's vegan. I sighed and plopped down on the sectional couch, still in pieces and pushed against the opposite wall. Eventually, I'd put the entire thing back together, but moving day had been exhausting enough just getting all my things from our former row home in Washington, D.C., to this new, larger apartment in Arlington, Virginia. I'd crossed the bridge and become a Northern Virginia girl. The irony wasn't lost on me given how often I make fun of people who can't stick it out in the big city. Not that Washington, D.C. was that big of a city to begin with, but still, it wasn't Virginia. Shudder. Despite the location, I had to admit, the price was right, and the size was even righter. Real estate on this side of the bridge was significantly cheaper than in the city, and frankly, that's what I needed right now. That, plus a new idea for a business that would actually take off this time. The thought reminded me of the unreturned voicemail from my father on my cell phone about joining the family business. But I quickly squirreled that away to the area of my brain where childhood guilt permanently resides. I can't believe we're not going to be roommates anymore. I sighed, my voice stretching out like a whine. And Mila's gone and started her own family. You and I are just here. Speak for yourself, Yaz. Rachel replied as she dropped onto another unconnected part of the sectional couch and tossed her feet up on a spare ottoman. At least I'm still in D.C. I shot her a look, my eyes rolling back as far into my head as I could without getting them stuck. Was that even a thing? My grandmother had been insistent that it was, and I'd never been tempted to test her wisdom. May she rest in peace. Okay, but you got stuck with McCavity, so... I gave her an evil grin, referring to Mila's cat who had refused to move with our former roommate Mila, thanks to their frenemies bond with Rachel. The world's worst consolation prize, Rachel joked, though there was absolutely truth to it. I still couldn't believe that the three of us had gone separate ways after over half a decade sharing the same roof. Rachel had that environmental lawyer money, and so she'd gotten her own place near Barracks Row in Washington, D.C. when we'd all split. She'd offered for me to move in with her, but it felt like time to start fresh. We were in our mid-30s now, and I couldn't still have a roommate when I hit 40.